What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me I got a 2016 Honda Accord. It's a used car. We took it in as a trade. It's definitely a unicorn. Don't see too many of these V6 Accords. Two-door coupe with the 6-speed manual transmission in this color blue. Talked to my general manager the other day. He was telling me he was looking online and he can only find 2 in the country that were up for sale currently. So this car is definitely going to go quickly. I got a couple of things to do on it, but one thing I wanted to take you guys along for the ride with is doing the manual transmission service on it. It's a simple drain and fill, but I figured I'd show you guys how to do it. All right, guys, so what I like to do is just get one of these 5-quart measured containers here. Pretty straightforward. Just drain it out. Whatever comes out, you put back in. This transmission calls for about 2 quarts of fluid. So as long as I get about 2 quarts that comes out of it, that's what's coming back in. Now, if I got about 1 quart or so that only came out of it, then we know that it was either low to begin with, or there's something wrong. And at that point, I would do a level check. A lot of these cars that have level check procedures, this is how I like to do it. Just that way, it's pretty straightforward and quick. If we don't have any issues with the transmission shifting at all, this is a manual, but in an automatic, if we don't have any issues shifting with the transmission and it calls for, let's say, 3.5 quarts of fluid and I get 3.5 quarts out, we know that we're good to go there. So that's all I do with that. But if there's any kind of weird thing where there's more fluid or less fluid that comes out, I do the level check procedure the way Honda recommends. Just that way it's perfect every time and we won't have any issues. So with that being said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get underneath the vehicle, and then we're going to take out this drain bolt right here. It's just a 3/8 drive drain bolt. So you just grab any old ratchet, and then you're just going to break it free. And then line up your bucket here, just to make sure you get everything that you can. And then you just let it drain into the bucket until we are completely empty in the transmission. Now, as that's draining, this is going to be the drain plug here. There is a washer that you want to replace. If you go to your parts store, your Honda parts department, just ask them for the washers for it. This one is basically a washer that you would use for an oil drain plug. It'd be the same one that you use for this right here. Anytime you remove this, or if you're doing the service, you always want to replace it because it is a crush washer, so you don't want to put extra tension on the threads there when you do go to tighten it if you reuse it. All right, guys, so as you can see here, it's finished draining and we got a little over 2 quarts of fluid that came out of it. Now, I did look up at the specs and it does call for 2.2 quarts. So it's pretty much right there. So I'm gonna put back in the 2.2 quarts, go for a test drive and make sure it's all good. But next thing you obviously wanna do is just reinstall your drain plug, tighten it down, and then go under the hood and I'll show you where the fill plug is on that. All right, guys, so now we're under the hood. Honda tells you to take out this air box, but it looks like you might not really need to, but if you want to, you can take out this tube and the air box. But if you look right behind the battery, you can see right there, right where the extension is, that's gonna be where you fill it up. So all you need is just a 3/8 drive extension, a long one, like I have, or a couple of extensions stacked up, and then on a ratchet here, and then you just gotta break it free. It looks like if you come from the back here, you're able to grab it a lot easier. And this is exactly what it looks like. If I can get that to... So it's going to be this right here. and then it comes with a washer on it, so you're gonna have to replace this one as well. This one's a bit of a bigger one, but again, if you go to your parts department, just ask them for the washer and they should get you the right ones. That basically just goes just like that. We're gonna go ahead and add our 2.2 quarts in there. Honda has the same manual transmission fluid for almost every vehicle. So when you go to parts and you ask them, they'll definitely get you the right stuff. But this is what you need to get, would be the Honda manual transmission fluid. It's pretty straightforward. Works on almost every Honda, to my knowledge anyways. Maybe the older ones you might not have something else, but every manual transmission service I've done here has been this fluid. I'm going to add our 2/10 of a quart. All right, we can go ahead and remove our bucket and reinstall our fill plug. This doesn't have to be tightened down a crazy amount. I believe the torque on this is 32 foot-pounds and the drain plug torque is 29 foot-pounds. So you just pretty much snug it up, doesn't have to be crazy. All right guys, that's it. Pretty straightforward procedure. Don't need any special tools, don't need a lift. You can do this right at home on the floor with a jack. I'd highly recommend the bucket. Makes things a lot easier. You can measure it out and make sure that you're putting the right amount of fluid in. Be smart with it. Obviously, again, I keep on saying this, but I can't stress it enough. If you drain out more or less than what it's calling for, just use your judgment and do the level check and just make sure that everything is okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like the video. I'll see you in the next one.